Hey there, how's it going? Are you good? Excellent. So as you can see, blue skies all around. Well, just right there. Probably all around as well, actually. But it is roughly the middle of May. And with the blue skies comes warmer weather. So our special guest today is Peanut. And here he is, just chilling. So I understand every now and then I get new subscribers coming to this channel. So if you're new here, I'll give you a bit of info on Peanut. He is a he. He's roughly 5 years old. And that's about it. What else can I say? He's a cat. Now, if you own a cat, you'll know that when it gets warm, their fur starts to remove itself. They start shedding. That is a process that happens naturally because obviously it's warmer. So what I'm going to do is give him a bit of a trim. Normally, he goes through this process quite easily. He's not really that bothered by the clippers. But right now is the first time I'm doing it in quite a few months. From around 2 years old or so, I'd give him a bit of a trim. So maybe twice a year, once in May and then maybe again in July. So yeah, normally when I trim him, he doesn't have any objections to it. A couple of times he's sort of stayed asleep and well, we'll see how it goes. He's going to keep moving every now and then, so every now and then he's going to be out of focus, but that should be okay. What I'll do now is probably just start trimming him. And just from stroking his head and stuff, you can like see there's a bunch of fur that comes off. You might not be able to see that in the camera, but yeah, that it has a tendency to build up, and yeah, it's not really what we're after, as you can see. And I won't be doing it to Pancake just yet because she'll probably end up climbing up the walls. Also, by the way, he actually likes it after he's been trimmed. He's a lot more playful, runs around a lot, and he'll look a lot slimmer once he's been trimmed. This might, by the way, this might take 2 days. I like to sort of give him a bit of a break from it, and that tends to keep him happy. Oh, and also, if he does get up during this, I'll stop trimming him, maybe give him a bit of food, and then bring him back up here and continue. Okay, so he seems to have settled down now. That's another thing that I wait for. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the guard from these clippers because we don't need this. It will just end up clogging up quicker than you can drop it. So I'm going to put that to one side. And then these clippers, what I'll do is I'll just turn them on a little further away from him. So you can either go downwards or upwards, it just depends. If you go upwards, you tend to get a closer cut. If you go downwards, it won't bother them as much. Obviously, it depends on how your cat reacts to it. Also, it depends on the position that the cat is in relation to you. So in my case, I'm sat over here, so the easiest way to do it for me is to go upwards, because going this way is a little more difficult to angle the clippers. Okay, so let's start and see how this turns out. Okay, so that was the first cut, and I'll just get the camera into focus on the area that I'm doing it on. So, okay, so about there should do, and let's just continue. I think I might just go upwards rather than downwards. And it's really that simple. So, you know, every time you do this, just turn off the clippers. So 1, that will save battery, and 2, it's going to give your cat a bit of a break from the noise. Also, you want to make sure you've got some sort of a container to put the fur in, some bin bag or something. Another thing that'll help you get a nice even cut will be if you were to stretch the skin out. That'll help you get around any like wrinkles and stuff. I'll probably have to do that later on and sort of even it out, but I just want to get most of it off right now. Okay, so I've just raised the camera a little bit. And I can imagine this is somewhat similar to shearing a sheep, only less traumatic for the sheep. Also, by the way, I'm not going to give him any particular style of haircut. I'm just aiming to remove as much fur as I can. And I don't know if you can see that, but he's actually twitching, which means he's like properly sleeping. So the only other issue I'm going to have is when it comes to shaving his other side, the side that is laid on, which is down here. As you can see. So here he is downstairs eating. I might not complete him on camera, but maybe you'll see him in future videos fully trimmed. And there we have Pancake. So yeah, I'll do the rest of him later on today. I'll probably leave her for another year or so. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I could even bring the clippers down here to continue the rest of this, but the rest of it won't be on film, on video. Who uses film these days? Nobody. This is her little hiding space. She gets behind the wheel of my bike and just stays around there. So yeah, I'll probably just leave these guys here now, and I'll continue with Peanut in a bit. Special powers? Special powers? Austin powers? Okay, so he's returned. So I've got a cup of tea here and we've both eaten something. So I think I might just have another go at trimming him. He was sat in the right position just then, but now he's got up and turned around and not too sure where he's going to rest. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to get to the side of him. Boop!
The fuck?
Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you want to do this and you're worried about your cat lashing out at you, well, one thing you want to keep an eye on is the tail, because if the tail starts wagging, your cat's being irritated by you. So you want to stop what you're doing. Whenever I do this, I keep an eye on the tail. If it starts twitching, I'll stop for about 5 minutes or so, and then I'll continue, but so far so good. Okay, so he's entered into a bit of a resting position, but what I want to access is this side bit here. The only other way I can do this is if he's up and about and he's walking around, and then I go up to him and I take bits off at a time. You kind of have to deal with it. Let's just see if we can take off some of these lower layers right here. And you see what I'm doing here, I'm actually stretching his skin so I can reach around to the other side, but in doing so, it makes for a smoother finish. Smoother finish? Okay, so another camera angle, and I've changed where the light's coming from, so you can see this a little more clearer now. And when I stretch the skin, I sort of go like this, or like that. And in the light that's shining on this right now, it looks fairly, it's nice to touch. It looks fairly even, but I don't think it is. After a week or two, it sort of evens itself out a little bit. The bumpy bits become less obvious. So yeah, all I can really do right now are the areas I can see, because getting him to turn over is going to be a mission, and he's not going to do that. So what I'll do is I'll just carry on now with this, and we'll see how far we can get. Also, at some point or other, I might actually stand up and go around to the other side of this chair and just even out that side. So yeah, like this neck area, what I'll do is I'll just sort of stretch it a little bit. So yeah, something like this, and his tail's wagging because I keep touching him and talking. Or maybe he was just repositioning it, I'm not too sure. Anyway, what I'll do now is I'll stand up and I'll go around to the other side of the chair and I'll try to get some of this bit. Okay, so as you can see, his tail was wagging. One thing you got to know is the limits of what your cat will tolerate. Peanut is very tolerant, especially of me. Some cats would have bitten me by now. Even though his tail's wagging, I can pretty much trim most of him. I could probably even flip him over and do the other side as well. And even if he does bite me, it's not going to be hard. It's just going to be like a little sort of like a little pinch. I know some cats would probably claw their owners or maybe, you know, full on bite them, but not this guy. If I carry on doing this when he doesn't want me to do it, he'll get off of the chair. But if there's enough birds flying around outside, he'll keep his eyes out there and probably want to stay. So what I might do now is just open the blinds a little bit so he can see. Okay, so shortly after opening the blinds, he's sort of shifted positions a little bit. And there he goes, he wants to leave now. So here we are back downstairs again, and this is what he looks like now. So after a couple of weeks his fur will even out by itself. I'll also be going over some parts of him maybe tomorrow and the day after, just to sort of finish him off a little bit. But yeah, he'll be running around a lot more now. I need him to lie down like this. He doesn't really like me touching this area that much. I don't really think any cats like to be touched around that area really, to be honest. I usually pick him up and sort of hold him between my legs and then stretch his arms out and then just give him a quick trim underneath. I'll do that at some point. I just need to be wearing shorts when I do that because his fur goes everywhere. Apart from that, he seems happy. Yeah, so obviously it's uneven here and there, but that is because of the way he was sat. But yeah, I think I'll probably just leave the video here now. And here's Pancake just licking her feet. So if you're thinking of trimming your cat, then I hope this video helps. And as you can see, I have no scratches on either of my hands. And yeah, so I'll see you next time.